All right, let's do this. We are diving deep into one of the biggest mysteries out there, the Fermi Paradox,
Yeah.
you know? The one that makes us wonder why. With a universe so vast and full of possibilities, why haven't we found any aliens yet? We'll be going through all the source material you gave us, looking at what we think we know about aliens, the possible solutions to this cosmic puzzle, and what it all means for us humans.
Yeah, it's really interesting. The Fermi Paradox isn't really about proving or disproving alien life. It's more like it makes us confront this contradiction. It makes us rethink our place in the cosmos.
Okay, unpack this a bit for us. You say contradiction. What's contradicting what here?
Well, it all begins with, just how massive the universe is. Your source material mentions over 200 billion galaxies, and each one is packed with billions of stars. And now we know that, like, most stars have planets around them. The numbers are, well, astronomical. It's hard to really get your head around how immense it all is.
Yeah, it makes it feel pretty small, right? Like
Mhm.
our whole planet is just a tiny speck of dust in this massive cosmic ocean.
Exactly. And so, given this crazy scale, the idea that Earth is the only place where life exists just seems, well, improbable, to say the least.
That's where the contradiction comes in, right? It
Yeah.
just feels like life should exist somewhere else, but we just haven't found proof yet.
Hmm.
No alien signals, no spaceships, not even a cosmic hello written across the sky.
Exactly. That silence compared to all the potential for life across those billions of galaxies, that's the heart of the Fermi Paradox.
Okay, so this silence you're talking about, is it actually silent, or are we just not listening the right way?
That's a great question. It's one of the key questions the Fermi Paradox makes us consider. Your source material actually looks at a lot of possible solutions, and some of them suggest that, yeah, maybe we are looking in the wrong places or listening on the wrong frequencies.
All right, so let's look at some of these possible solutions. Lay it on me.
Okay, well, let's start with the possibility that maybe, just maybe, even with all those possibilities, we are alone. This is the core of what they call the rare Earth hypothesis, which is outlined in your source material.
Alone in the entire universe. That's both exhilarating and terrifying. What is it that makes Earth so special that we'd be the only ones at the party?
Well, the rare Earth hypothesis basically says that the conditions that allowed intelligent life to evolve are so specific, so unlikely, that it's probably not happening anywhere else. It points to a bunch of factors that came together perfectly on Earth to allow complex life to form. Our planet's stable orbit, liquid water, the magnetic field that protects us from all that harmful radiation, even the way our moon affects tides and the way our planet rotates. And those are just a few examples from your source material.
So it's like, we won the cosmic lottery. All these crazy coincidences had to line up perfectly to make Earth the perfect place for life to start.
Exactly. And if those conditions are really that rare, like the hypothesis says, well, we might be a cosmic anomaly, a single spark of consciousness in an otherwise lifeless universe. That's a pretty wild thought, Yeah, it really puts things in perspective. But honestly, part of me hopes that's not true. Being all alone out here would be kind of lonely, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Luckily, our sources look at other possibilities, right?
of course. There are a bunch of other potential solutions to the Fermi Paradox that don't leave us feeling quite so isolated. One pretty interesting idea is that maybe civilizations just don't stick around long enough to connect with each other.
So instead of being alone, it's more like a cosmic game of tag,
Yeah.
where civilizations pop up and then disappear before they can find each other?
Yeah.
Is that what the self-destruction hypothesis is
Yeah.
about?
Exactly. The self-destruction hypothesis, which is explored in detail in your source material, basically says that as civilizations get more advanced, they also develop ways to, well, wipe themselves out. It's a scary thought, but we can kind of see it happening here on Earth too, right?
Yeah. With things like nuclear weapons, climate change, and even AI, we're definitely not strangers to threats we create ourselves. It's almost like hitting a cosmic self-destruct button before we can even say hello to our galactic neighbors.
Exactly. And now imagine that happening all over the universe.
Yeah.
Civilizations reach a certain level of technology and then, for whatever reason, they collapse or destroy themselves. If that's a common pattern, it could explain why we haven't found any long-lasting alien civilizations.
That's pretty bleak, but it makes sense. So what are some of the other explanations for this cosmic silence? What else is out there?
Well, maybe it's just way harder to make contact than we think. Even if civilizations last long enough, the distances involved might be impossible to overcome.
That makes sense.
Yep.
I mean, we're talking about a universe where stars are light years apart. Even if we could travel at the speed of light, which is the fastest speed there is, it would still take years, decades, maybe even centuries, to reach another star system.
Exactly. One of your sources made a really interesting comparison, actually. They said trying to contact another civilization in our galaxy is like two people standing on opposite sides of the Pacific Ocean, each with a flashlight, trying to signal each other. The chances of those beams crossing paths are basically zero.
Wow. Yeah. So it's not just about having the technology to travel or send signals. It's about the massive scale of it all and how hard it would be to coordinate communication across such incredible distances.
Exactly. And even if we could figure all that out, there's still the question of whether we'd even recognize alien communication.
Oh yeah, good point. We just assume aliens would use radio waves, like us.
Yeah.
But what if their technology is so advanced that they've moved way beyond that? What if they're using forms of communication we haven't even discovered?
Your source material looks at that too. It says we might be like ants trying to understand a human conversation. Like we just don't have the senses or the brains to understand their signals.
Huh. So it's like we're listening to this cosmic symphony, but all we hear is static
Yeah.
because we don't have the right instruments.
I like that. And then there's the even crazier possibility that aliens are avoiding us on purpose.
Wait, you're talking about the zoo hypothesis, right? Like, we're living in some kind of galactic zoo and the advanced aliens are watching us from afar, the same way we might study animals in a zoo.
Yep, that's the one. That hypothesis, which one of your sources explores, suggests that these advanced civilizations might have a policy of not interfering, letting less developed civilizations like ours evolve naturally.
So we're like the galactic equivalent of an uncontacted tribe, living our lives with no idea that more advanced beings are watching us. That's both cool and a little creepy.
Yeah, it is. There are a lot of theories about why they wouldn't interfere. Maybe they're worried about contaminating our culture or messing up our development. Or maybe they're just studying us for their own scientific reasons.
It's like that saying, we only want to observe, not interfere. But on a cosmic scale, it really makes you think, are they out there watching us right now?
That is a fascinating question, and it leads us to another possibility. Maybe they are here, but we just don't recognize them.
Well, hold on. You mean like aliens walking among us disguised as humans? That's
Yeah.
getting into science fiction territory.
Not necessarily. The idea is that these advanced civilizations might have technology that's so advanced we can't even understand it, let alone detect it. Maybe they have cloaking devices, maybe they can manipulate space-time, maybe they're using technology that makes them completely invisible to us.
So it's not about little green men and flying saucers. It's something way more subtle and advanced, something we can't even begin to imagine.
Exactly. And it's important to remember that our understanding of physics and the universe is still evolving. What seems impossible today might be normal tomorrow.
Yeah, this whole conversation just shows how much we don't know. It's humbling, but also really exciting.
I agree. And that brings us to another attempt to tackle the Fermi Paradox, the Drake equation. Your source material talked about that too.
Yes, the famous equation that tries to calculate how many detectable civilizations are out there in our galaxy.
Right. Astronomer Frank Drake came up with it as a way to get scientists talking about the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. It takes all sorts of factors into account: the rate of star formation, how many stars have planets, the number of planets in the habitable zone, how often life actually arises on those planets, stuff like that.
So it's like a cosmic recipe. But instead of ingredients, it uses these astronomical and biological factors to try and figure out the odds of finding alien civilizations.
Exactly. But the problem is, we're not really sure about a lot of those variables. We're still learning so much about exoplanets, the conditions for life, and how intelligence evolves.
Right, so depending on the number you plug into the equation, you can get completely different answers. Anywhere from a universe teeming with alien life to one where we're totally alone.
Yeah. The Drake equation isn't really about getting an exact number. It's more about showing all the possibilities and the factors that might affect our chances of finding extraterrestrial life.
It's a way to think about it, to structure our search, to understand the universe better.
Exactly. And even though it has limitations, the Drake equation has had a huge impact on the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. It reminds us that the search is ongoing and our knowledge of the universe is always growing.
This is all so fascinating, but I gotta say, after looking at all these possibilities, I have even more questions than answers.
Well, that's the thing about the Fermi Paradox. It's not about finding the right answers. It's about embracing the mystery and asking questions.
It's like the universe is telling us, Keep searching, keep exploring, keep asking.
And in that process of searching, exploring, and asking questions, we might just find something truly amazing.
Maybe the answer to the Fermi Paradox is out there waiting to be discovered.
Or maybe it's inside us, waiting to be realized.
So we've been on this incredible journey exploring the Fermi Paradox and all these mind-blowing possibilities, from the sheer size of the universe to the idea that civilizations might destroy themselves. We've covered so much. So where do we go from here? What are the main takeaways, and how does this whole paradox change how we see, well, everything?
I think one of the biggest takeaways is realizing that we're still just beginning to understand our place in the universe. The Fermi Paradox really shows us how much we don't know and how limited our current knowledge is.
Yeah, it's both humbling and exciting at the same time, isn't it? We've made these huge leaps in science and technology, but when you zoom out and look at the whole cosmos, we're just getting started.
Exactly. And the Fermi Paradox is like a reminder to keep an open mind, to question everything we think we know, and to be ready for new discoveries that might completely change how we understand reality.
It's like a challenge. Keep searching, keep exploring,
Yeah.
never stop asking the big questions.
Exactly. And while searching for alien life is definitely a scientific thing, the Fermi Paradox also makes us think about philosophy and these big existential questions. It forces us to think about our own place in the cosmos and what the meaning of life even is.
It's like the paradox isn't just about finding aliens. It's about finding ourselves.
Yeah. I like that. Because really, the Fermi Paradox isn't about getting a definitive answer. It's about the journey, about exploring, about expanding our understanding, about realizing we're part of something much bigger than ourselves.
And that journey, that expansion, it can lead to amazing discoveries, not just in science and technology, but in how we see ourselves and what it means to be human.
Absolutely. The Fermi Paradox is an invitation to embrace the mystery, to be curious about the universe, to wonder about our place in it all.
So even if we never actually find aliens, just searching, questioning, pushing the limits of our knowledge, that's valuable in itself.
I completely agree. It's through that exploration and discovery that we really grow as a species.
This deep dive into the Fermi Paradox has been amazing. We've looked at some incredible possibilities and thought about some really big questions.
It's been great exploring all this with you.
And with all of you listening out there, we hope this deep dive has made you curious and inspired you to keep looking up at the stars, to keep that sense of wonder and that thirst for knowledge. Who knows what mysteries the universe is hiding, waiting for us to uncover them.